So you've heard all about Christopher Columbus. 1492, who sailed the ocean blue. If you work or learn in a place of joy and happiness, you'll get this holiday off, unless you're some universities. I just have to tell you that these are the most comfy sweatpants I have ever owned in my entire life. Old Chris gets the glory laurel because of his ingenuity and bravery. Some would argue that we wouldn't have been discovered if it hadn't been for old Columbus. Personally, I think we would have been discovered eventually. How long can a landmass that takes up half a hemisphere really go undiscovered? But just as the history books chalk the Grand Canyon up to nature, everybody knows it was built by the Pilgrims. They like to exaggerate about the great discoverer as well. So I am going to set the record straight. I really haven't done much in my young life, but I feel that it is my responsibility, my albatross, which actually means the same as responsibility, to let everybody know the truth about old Christopher Columbus. Here we go. Christopher Columbus was a derp. A lovesick, limp-spined derp. And his journey to find the New World began as most testosterone-fueled adventures begin, with a woman, Maria Elena Francesca Ricotta Calamari, to be exact. Hair like a Brillo pad, skin like a cow's behind, and the lilting voice of a pigeon being strangled in a ceiling fan. What can we say? Old Derp wasn't picky. Having grown up an uncouth, buck-toothed youth, see what I did there? He didn't have much luck with the ladies, so his mother sent him out with a winner from the church, and he felt he really couldn't say no. Number one, because Mama Columbus wasn't one to say no to. Or, as the Italians say, no. Literally, you could add this to anything, and it automatically becomes Italian. Observe. God bless America. God bless America. I am fluent in Italian. And number two, because they'd be so great together. So Krista Derp starts dating this gem, and at first, everything's going swimmingly. As we like to cynically call it, the awkward couple phase. Oh, Chris, I think it'd be really fun to stand in front of heavily populated doorways and make people passing by feel really awkward. Oh, Maria Elena Francesca Ricotta, that would be splendid. And afterwards, we can sit at the same table when we eat, and we eat the exact same thing, as I said to you before. But after a while, Maria Elena Francesca Ricotta Calamari started getting demanding, always sending him carrier pigeons to his apprenticeship, driving past his house on her gondola, generally smothering the crap out of him. Even the people at the church started to notice. Whoa, Chris, that Maria Elena Francesca Ricotta is really smothering the crap out of you. But being in love, or whatever, Krista Derp didn't seem to mind. He simply tried harder to make her as happy as possible. Finally, he could take no more. He decided to do the gallant thing, have a DTR, define the relationship. Oh, Maria Elena Francesca Ricotta, quoth he, I've tried to be the best man for you, and still you want more. What must I do to prove that I love you? To which she replied, I want you to set off on a voyage halfway around the world and name whatever you find after me. What? Krista Derp was thrilled. Finally, his woman put her finger on exactly what she wanted. He never stopped to consider that this request was completely unreasonable. He simply thought that it was typical of all girlfriends to want their significant others to travel halfway across the world to discover new lands in their honor. That's a thing, right? He realized, though, that he needed some money to do this gallant thing. So he went in search of a backer, and when his parents and grandparents and third cousins, brothers, wives, step-nieces, great-aunts ran out, he turned to the one person he knew would listen to his plight and help him win the woman of his dreams, the Queen of Portugal. Old Izzy was more than happy to oblige. More than happy. Is that even possible? I am ecstatic to help you. I feel like that should be examined. When you go on this voyage, I can't do a Portuguese accent. You have to name whatever you find after me. What's a derp to do? Two women, the love of his hormones and the giver of money, both have the same ridiculous request. Notice how he didn't consider setting out on a voyage halfway across the world ridiculous, but having to name something after two different women is. He didn't risk going to Mama Columbus for advice for fear that she'd do the same thing. So he took Izzy's money, kissed Maria's cowhide face, and set off on a voyage halfway around the world to find something. For 7.5 years, he voyaged. He voyaged high, and he voyaged low. I almost said drunk. But he found nothing worth naming after his women. I could name the ocean. I found this ocean for you. That's not lazy. Finally, on the eve of the 8th year, he struck land with an exhausted and much depleted crew. 57 left, 3 made it. He set foot on the land that he had set off to find for his women. He fell flat on his face and thanked the heavens that he had arrived much later than he originally expected, but safely. You will notice that our postage stamps do not say the United States of Izzy. Neither do they read the United States of Maria. I don't actually think that our postage stamps say anything about America either. Mine just had little flags on them. But Christopher had been gone for so long that he remembered neither of the names of the women who caused him to take the voyage in the first place. In fact, by the time he got back 14 years later, neither of the women remembered why he had left either. But he had to name the Newfoundland something. So he named it after his faithful cabin boy, America. Or, as the Italians say it, America.